Hello YouTubers and welcome to Novus Talks with me, your host Novus Comics. And finally we've got movie news to talk about. And specifically for this video, we are returning to the world of Transformers. Because there's finally been some news. And what is that? Well, I'm going to delve into the specifics of all that right away. First of all, I do want to note the one reason I didn't do this video sooner, because there was news recently about loads of different rumours about what's potentially happening with the Transformers live action movies. I didn't do videos on those older rumours, mostly because I knew they were all pretty much like bullshit anyway, and it was just sort of fan pondering, and you can tell they were fan written. But this may have some substance to it, and so this was one I felt was worth talking about. And I'll mention about those other rumours as well in a minute. So first off, the rumour I'm referring to is of course that 2 new Transformers movies are currently being written by the writers of John Wick 2 and 3 and Amazing Spider-Man and Edge of Tomorrow. Now that's a pretty dicey list there, because Amazing Spider-Man I liked, Edge of Tomorrow I hated, and there was Independence Day Resurgence, which was fun I guess, but it was just a badly written plot mess. But anyways, and I like the John Wick movies. So they're allegedly on board to be writing 2 new Transformers movies. The article, which Variety reported on as well as Collider, also mentioned that these 2 movies are in 2 separate universes, which I've been suggesting would be the perfect idea for a while now. Ever since these older rumors were coming out as of last year, I was saying that the perfect way to take Transformers forward would be to make one more movie to finish the prequel storyline established in Bumblebee, and then reboot the movies with another movie. And it looks like they're going that way. But the 2 films being made allegedly are a sequel to Bumblebee and a Beast Wars movie. Now, a Beast Wars movie might seem out of the blue for some people, but actually this is not a new concept. This goes all the way back to 2015 with the Transformers Writers Room. They came up with 10 Transformers movies, and at one point 2 of their ideas were for, I believe, 2 Beast Wars movies. 1 or 2 Beast Wars movies, so Beast Wars was thrown in there. And of course we had the concept art in Transformers The Last Night of Optimus Primal, this weird snake looking Transformer, and I can't remember if there was any other ones in there, but those are the ones off the top of my head that I can think of. There's also Cheetor in this book, actually, in Transformers: A Visual Art History. There's concept art of Cheetor for Transformers The Last Night, looking very much like how he did in Beast Machines, actually. So Beast Wars has been a concept that's been floating around for a while in terms of being established into the live action universe. How the hell they're going to do that, I haven't a clue. It seems like what they were originally going with back then was a sort of time travel element or alternate universe, or you could just have it set in the past. Of course, it all depends now if this Beast Wars movie is in the current timeline or if it's a rebooted movie. Because that brings us to the whole issue of Bumblebee. A Bumblebee sequel, will it really tie into the first Transformers? This rumor leaves it open for interpretation, because despite what fans may theorize, Bumblebee is very much a prequel. Not only is it abundantly evident throughout the movie that it's a prequel, but Travis Knight has said it's a prequel. The special features on the DVD mention that it's a prequel, and its official listing is that it's a spin-off. So regardless, Bumblebee is a prequel, despite whether Lorenzo de Bonaventura is jumping around between prequel and reboot every 2 months. The point is, it's a prequel. That's just the reality of it. It is. So obviously, of course, I was hoping they'd do a Bumblebee sequel that finishes the storyline and brings us right up to the first Transformers and then reboot it with another movie. I'm not a fan of Beast Wars at all. I love Beast Machines, but Beast Wars is something that I could never catch onto. And I really don't think it can work as a movie. I simply fail to see. Beast Wars relies entirely on nostalgia of people growing up in the 90s. A person watching TV now who sees a TV spot for a Beast Wars live action movie isn't going to be that engrossed. They're going to be very confused as to why there's Transformers turning into animals and plants and dinosaurs and everything else. So I don't think Beast Wars could make it succeed as a movie or reach the intended audience very well. But that's up in the air as to whether that's actually possible. What do I say? When could we see these movies get released? That's a whole other question. It also, one of these movies, Bumblebee or Beast Wars, one of these movies is, I presume, set in the Michael Bay universe, so it's going to finish the prequel storyline. We're sadly not going back to finish the storyline with Quintessa at the end of Transformers: The Last Night, but we can go back and finish the prequel storyline that was set up. And that's what they should do. If they want to please all their fans, that's what they need to do. Release that movie first, and then get your reboot out the way. It gives you extra time as well to focus on a reboot. Now the rumors have been going on for ages that a Transformers movie would be releasing in 2021, because Hasbro had a listing going all the way back to 2018 now for their movies coming out the next few years, and 2021 had an Untitled Paramount/Hasbro event film. It was never revealed what that movie is, but we predicted it was Transformers because at that time the Transformers cinematic universe had been shut down. Bumblebee was the only movie left, and we know Hasbro wanted to start their own cinematic universe separate from the Transformers universe. I think it's very confusing and complicated, which leads me to another movie possibility. Transformers versus G.I. Joe. This was another idea that came out of the Transformers writers' room, based off of the Transformers vs. G.I. Joe comics that have been released by IDW for the past 13 years, 14 at this point. And that was part of their series where they had all these crossovers between Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask, Rom Space Knight, loads of them, and it's probably as big as the Marvel Cinematic Universe is. So it was actually crazy that they pulled that off in comic form. And it would be ideal if they made a Transformers universe like that on live screen, but I doubt they will. Now, the Transformers vs. G.I. Joe movie ran into a bit of trouble because that was scheduled for, well, rumored for 2021. It was going to be the third G.I. Joe movie. But then when the cinematic universe got shut down, that movie kind of got, I don't know if it's scrapped or pushed to the side. It's very hard to tell, but it was sort of forgotten about, we'll say. And rumors came out then that they were just going to reboot G.I. Joe instead of making a sequel to it. And now we know they're doing Snake Eyes. So that was the last we really heard of Transformers vs. G.I. Joe. In regards to it popping up now, supposedly with Hasbro's shared universe, they're going to cross over a lot of their properties, so Transformers and G.I. Joe would make perfect sense. And I feel like that would be an ideal movie to have Michael Bay direct. I love the guy, but I recognize that he has done 5 movies and that we do need some fresh air, especially for rebooting the continuity a bit. But that gives him the opportunity to play around with military as well as alien robots. So you kind of get the best of both worlds there. But Hasbro recently as well bought back their license for Power Rangers, which led on to speculation of a Power Rangers and Transformers crossover, which I think could work perfectly. I didn't think much of it at the time because I was so focused on the G.I. Joe crossover, but if you threw in headmasters, like if I could see a story where like the Power Rangers are headmasters for certain Transformers, like Six Shot or Overlord, any of them, that could work excellently. I don't know how you'd fit the Megazords in there if the Power Rangers are like headmasters, but it could be like the thing they link to Transformers with, but it could work perfectly if they did it really well, and the idea makes me really excited. Maybe they will do that. Maybe they will do a Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, heck, Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles as well, and have them go up against Unicron. That would be insane, but it's a bit too out there, and of course, we don't even know what our next movie is, let alone movies down the road, so it's just fun to play around with the ideas that were abandoned, but maybe coming back now. So what of the other movies we know from the Transformers writers' room? Well, there was Transformers 1, which was a prequel set on Cybertron. It was animated and was going to be about the beginning of the war right up to the end of the war. I presume Quintessa would have had a big role in that. What became of that? It was heavily implied that that was cancelled in favour of War for Cybertron, which is coming out on Netflix in June this year. We still don't have a trailer on that. I don't know if we are going to get one. Apparently Netflix don't like advertising originals, so I'm kind of scared that series will fail. But that aside, Transformers 1 seems to be either transformed into War for Cybertron or it's being forgotten about for the time being. The other one, Operation Skyfire, was a World War II movie based around the Autobot Skyfire in World War II. And the artwork that did get out for that looked really interesting, and you could tell some of the ideas went on to make it into Bumblebee. But that one looked like it could have been a pretty interesting and unique standalone Transformers movie. However, naturally that's going to get completely done. I don't think we're ever going to see that movie because obviously the whole World War II story kind of got a lot of hate for, obviously it was in Transformers the last night, but people didn't want that. They didn't care about that. And so Hasbro going forward with more Transformers movies, it makes sense they want to avoid anything that people might link back. At least for the time being. Maybe in a rebooted universe they could go back to World War II, but in terms of the Michael Bay timeline, we're not going back to World War II, at least for the time being. And that was it for known movies. Other than that, we had Transformers 6, 7, 8, 9, and I presume 10. Obviously, none of those are ever going to see the light of day, because Transformers The Last Night's failure. So, really the only ones of those movies that could actually exist now is Transformers vs. G.I. Joe, and potentially Transformers 1. But I highly doubt that one, so G.I. Joe is really the only one that could exist. And the Beast Wars movies, of course. But the writers are going ahead with a Beast Wars and a Bumblebee movie. I keep saying Bumblebee movie, Bumblebee sequel, sorry. And if they release like Beast Wars before a Bumblebee sequel, I would be very confused and thrown off, because to me the only way to pull this off at all is to just finish, as I said already several times now, finish the story you already have, and then focus on bringing in insane ideas like Beast Wars or Beast Machines, Beast Hunters, whatever. Heck, they could throw in, as I said, Headmasters or something. There's so many possibilities, and now that they're rebooting in some sense, I guess it means that the door is open for all kinds of possibilities. But it still remains in how do you make these Transformers movies better? I loved the other Transformers movies. Specifically, Age of Extinction, all-time favorite movie. But I do like that Bumblebee had a more character-centered storyline. And I do recognize that Transformers movies going forward need to focus on story above action and everything else that's going on. So it could be very tricky to see how they manage the whole character dynamics, especially since, you know, this isn't a normal movie. This is a movie where most of the characters are CGI, so that's where the problem comes in very much, between balancing everything you have. But yeah, who knows? And I don't even know how you would do a live action Beast Wars, as I've said already. They would all the Transformers movies have to have humans in them, of course. So Beast Wars presumably would be set in the ancient past, so there would be no humans, at least no advanced humans. So how are you gonna have? I wonder, would it be animated? I feel like the only way that could work if it's an animated movie. I've seen other people mention it as well. They could potentially have that movie animated. It might not even be part of a new universe. It could be its own standalone film, completely unrelated to anything. As weird as that would be, that'd be perfectly fine. Maybe they're just experimenting with ideas. I could see that working. If they want to go down that route, I'm all in favor for it. And I think that's the only way a Beast Wars movie could work. So yeah, in regards to the old rumor that came out, that was specifying that Bumblebee was a reboot. The next movie would be called Transformers 1990. Megatron would be the villain, and I believe Charlie was coming back. And we knew this was fake because Transformers 1990, that would never be a title for a Transformers movie. Like, never. It doesn't fit. Hasbro are not that lazy. Even though it might feel like it, they're not that low. They wouldn't sink that far. Megatron being the villain. Megatron hasn't been the villain since the first Transformers movie. You're claiming this is a Bumblebee sequel, yet you're saying Megatron will be the villain, which would mean Optimus Prime would have to be the main character. Therefore, the whole thing just contradicts itself, especially since Megatron's frozen in ice. What else was there to that? Charlie's story is complete. You can't really do anything else with her. Yeah, great. She can make Bumblebee many years later, and she probably will, but I don't buy it. It just comes across as just an other joke, really. That's why I didn't give this rumor any attention. I was going to, but I was so annoyed that people were taking this stupid rumor seriously that I was like, it's not worth my time focusing on it. That's why I focus on this one. I was going to do this video yesterday. Of course, I did the Golden Sun video, and so this video got pushed forward. But I'm doing this video now because this information is out and it's a bit more credible. More sites are posting about it than the old rumor. Everyone just sort of jumped on that bandwagon, and we were supposed to be going to get an announcement of the title or something in this month, and that movie is coming out next year. Considering, and there was a director, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they mentioned a director. No writers, but there was a director. Now, how fishy is that? We'd have a director, but don't know the writers, and the movie's coming out next year when it hasn't even, there's not even a script yet. They'd have to start filming, they'd have an entire cast by now, filming by May, and then wrapping filming by November. No, there's no way all the pre-production work is done and no one knew about it. So that rumor's completely in the bin. Forget about it. I know I want to, because it's one of the most stupid rumors I've ever heard. But this one, as I said, this one's a bit more credible because it's more realistic. The fact that it's two universes shows that they can want to pander to both sides and get as much, reach as much of an audience as they can, reach both audiences, because there's such a divide right now between what everyone wants the next Transformers movie to be. But yeah, who knows? I'm going to keep an eye out to see what Transformers news comes out next. I feel like it might be a while. I don't think we're getting a 2021 movie. Next Transformers movie, if there is one, and if this rumor is true, I could see 2022 at the earliest. They're writing it this year. Sure, it's possible they could start filming spring of next year and then do something completely different to what they've done with the last 6 movies. Possible. But assuming they follow the usual Hollywood structure for filming things, I predict they're going to give themselves that extra amount of time and then begin shooting in May, around mid to late May, like Transformers 5 did. Bumblebee shot on July 31st, but that was a smaller movie. We don't know if these movies are small or if they're big movies. Who really knows? If more information comes out, more credible information I might add, I'll add to it, and I'll throw that in here. I know I don't seem like as excited as I usually would be when discussing Transformers movie news, but as I said, it's just kind of chaos, and the fandom is very toxic at the moment when rumors come out, and you know, if you're not supporting a Bumblebee reboot, you're the fucking worst person in the world. So, you know, it's more of a pain really to talk about these things. That's why I wanted to wait till something official came out. And hey, if Paramount officially say in their words Bumblebee is a reboot, I'll believe it. I said that before. Yes, they said, oh, but it's a new storytelling universe. It's the beginning of a new storyline. They said the same thing about Age of Extinction and The Last Night. That means nothing. That just means it's a new story. As they said, it doesn't mean it's a reboot. And then people will point to Lorenzo de Bonaventura, claim that it is a reboot and stuff, but then he contradicts himself every 2 weeks, so you can't take him seriously. He's just trying to please everyone, but realizing he's pleasing no one in the end. And of course, to add more insult to injury, people were claiming Lorenzo had stepped down from Transformers. Yet these rumors imply that he's still there. So yeah, don't believe the older rumors that are out there at the moment. But do let me know down in the comment section below. Do you believe these rumors? What do you think the next Transformers movie will be? When do you think we will get it? Who would you like to see direct it? And do you want it to be a reboot? Do you think they should finish the prequel storyline first, or maybe even the Last Night storyline, as unlikely as that is? Let me know down in the comment section below. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for watching, and please subscribe. Nova Scorpius out.